In this video, I'm going to create a simple members only area for a fictitious coffee shop. I will show you how to generate the snippets directly in Sitelok and add them to your pages. You don't have to understand the code itself, so don't worry. I already have Sitelok installed on the site, so I'll log in to the control panel as admin. I strongly recommend setting the option to store passwords as secure hashes and also setting a suitable forgotten password email. I created a user group for my coffee club members called Member and set the login redirect URL to point to my members page. We'll look at that later anyway. In Rapidweaver, I've created my members only page in a folder called Coffee Club, and I've also made sure the file name has the .php extension. At the moment, anybody can access the members only page, so the first thing you'll need to do is secure it. We can use Sitelok's built-in snippet generator to do that. The page setup snippet basically tells Sitelok how to secure the page and what features are on the page, like registration forms, etc. Our page is located in a folder on the site rather than the root, has some members content on it, and we only want to allow members of our member user group to be able to access it. Now we've got our snippet, we can copy it to the clipboard, and then in Rapidweaver we will open the page inspector, go to the page prefix section and paste in the snippet. If we had other members pages, we could use the same snippet for those as well. I'll publish and check the page is now secure. Great. The page now requires a login. This is actually the default login form, which appears when users try to access a secure page when they're not already logged in. I could customize this default login form, but on this site I want to use our own custom login form, which we'll see later. The next step is to add a form for users to sign up. In Rapidweaver, I've added a sign up page where we'll add the registration form, and also a thank you page which the user will see after they've signed up. Both pages are in the Coffee Club folder and have file names using the .php extension. We don't need the thank you page to appear in the site menu, so I'll uncheck the show in navigation box. I've used Sitelok's registration form designer to create and style the form I want to use. I decided to allow users to choose their own password rather than using a random one, and also require them to check an agreement checkbox. When you use a checkbox, it's important to set a value. In this case, I use the word agreed, which gets stored in custom 1 to show the user agreed. Let's take a look at the form properties. I set the form to add users to our member user group and with no expiry. I also set the thank you page to the page we created in Rapidweaver. As I want to make sure that users provide a valid email address, I'm going to have the account disabled initially. It will get enabled when the user clicks an activation link in their email. Let's take a look at the email that gets sent to the user. We can make it a bit more personal by using a variable to insert the user's first name. I also want the user to click a link to activate their account, which proves the email was received so the address is valid. To do this, we select the text used as a link and then select Confirm Account Link from the Insert Variables drop-down. We will allow the link to be valid for 24 hours. When it's clicked, the user's account will be enabled and they will be redirected to the page set, which in this case is directly to the member only page we created. We can also have an option to send out a confirmation email, but I don't think that's necessary here. Let's save the changes. Now that we have our registration form and email set up, we can generate the snippets we need to add to our sign up page. In step 1, we're going to create the page setup snippet, which tells Sitelok the page is in a folder and has a registration form on it. I'll copy that to the clipboard and paste it into our sign up page in the prefix section. We'll return to the registration form to follow step 2, which is the snippet for the head section of the page. I'll copy that to the clipboard and paste it into the head section of the page inspector. Step 3 is a snippet which will display the form, so we'll add that to the page where we want it to be inserted. I'll drag an HTML stack onto the page and paste in the snippet. Let's publish the site and check it all works. Here's our sign up form. And here's the email I received. I'll click the link to activate the account and log in. It would be nice to welcome the user with their first name, so let's get that snippet and add it to the page. As we're adding this to a text stack, we need to tell Rapidweaver that it's code by selecting the snippet and then clicking Ignore Formatting in the Format menu. It will then turn pink to show that it's code. We should also add a logout link to the page as well. This is just a normal link to a special URL in Sitelok, which we can get from the snippet generator. Let's publish and check those changes. I'll just refresh the page as we're still logged in. I mentioned before that I want to use a custom login page instead of the default form, so Rapidweaver, I made a page where I'll add that. I named it login.php in the Coffee Club folder and removed it from the menu. In Sitelok, I created and styled the login form I want to use, so we can go ahead and generate the snippets we need to add to our page. In step 1, we're going to create the page setup snippet, which tells Sitelok the page will contain a login form and is in a folder rather than the root of the site. We are using the login with redirect form so that after the user logs in, they're taken to the URL we set for the member user group. I'll copy that to the clipboard and paste it into our login page in the prefix section of the page inspector. We'll return to the login form to follow step 2, which is the snippet for the head section of the page. I'll copy that to the clipboard and paste it into the head section of the page inspector. Step 3 is a snippet which will display the form, so we'll add that to the page where we want it to be inserted. I'll drag an HTML stack onto the page and paste in the snippet. The final step is to tell Sitelok to use our new login page instead of the default one. We do this by setting the no access page URL to our login page. Let's publish again and check that worked. There we go. I hope this video has helped you, but as always, if you've got any questions, just let us know.